to occupy and be counted.
Well, she's the silver star.
You know, people just couldn't hold it.
Knowledge, but you can't make the student think.
She's prepared. See, that's called corruption.
There's a lot the students' union can do.
The guitar and the double bass, but
To have a safe or secure life.
From federal politics to student government, reporter Ben Rowe is here today with University of Calgary Student Union President Hardave Birk. Ben?
Thank you. And thanks, Hardave, for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having me. Always love to come by.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think right off the bat, let's just talk about the year you've had so far as SU president.
It's been great. You know, we're coming into the home stretch here the last semester, but I think so far a lot of the things we set out to do, we've achieved. Some of those examples would be, I mean, we ran a big consultation on Mac Hall. We were able to actually exceed our goal. We have over 6,100 students, so over a quarter of the campus population who were consulted through that, giving feedback on the building. We've moved to have all cutlery in Mac Hall, moved to compostable cutlery, so we're continuing our sustainability initiatives. We've done a couple other things that are more internal to the Students' Union. One, for example, would be we've worked really hard to advocate to the university to get the loft renovated and make sure that space is better for students. So overall, I think we've done a lot of things that have set the Students' Union up really well for next year.
Awesome. Yeah, the Mac Hall story certainly has been what's mostly been focused on over the past year. The Mac Hall master plan, and certainly people have noticed the SU's attempts to consult with students. Now, you mentioned that you've gotten 6,100 responses on those consultations. So where are those consultations going from there? I mean, you know, where are those voices being heard after they're collected by you guys?
Great question. So the plan right now is the university put forward a draft plan for the building that was calling for a $150 million renovation that would take about 3 to 4 years to build. So it would be a pretty large shutdown of parts of the building to make that happen. We've heard pretty loud and clear from students. They don't want to see the building shut down. They're not sure how much of that renovation should happen, but we've got a lot of data from students through our different surveys that we're going to be able to compile, bring together, and with the university we have a memorandum of understanding to make sure that we're not going to move forward on any type of renovations until the Students' Union and the university are in agreement, and make sure that the student concerns are addressed. Because in my opinion and in the Students' Union's opinion, there's no point in moving forward on any type of renovation unless students actually want it. Furthermore, that'll help us set a master plan that'll kind of be the plan for the building for the next 20 or 25 years. So even if we don't do the whole plan all at once, as we move forward and make small renovations like the SU has over the last few years, we're able to slowly work towards the collective vision that we have with the university for the building.
Excellent. Well, we've heard a lot about those Mac Hall renovations, but one thing that maybe we haven't heard as much about but is also going on is the West Campus development. And I understand you're on the committee for the Development Trust. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm one of the trustees for the West Campus Development Trust. I'm appointed as one of the student reps. So that's going to be a great endeavor, I think, for our university. For those of you who don't know, the West Campus is essentially all lands west of the university, south of 32nd Ave and north of 16th Ave, so kind of right around where the Alberta Children's Hospital is, the undeveloped land there. The plan right now is to go out and kind of build some housing on that land as well as office space, retail, and the real goal is to make it so U of C and the University of Calgary is more of a destination campus. Right now, a large number of our students are commuters. Maybe they live in the south or they live just outside of Calgary on the outskirts, and they're commuting quite a distance to come in. And so if they have a class that maybe ends at noon on, let's say, a Thursday or a Friday, but there's another event they want to go to on campus at 5 or 6 p.m., for a lot of those students, they might not want to stay around. We're hoping that by building West Campus, it'll not only enrich the life of those students who are living on residence, but also those who are coming in from out of town, giving them more things to do here on campus, keeping more students around the university, and building a strong connection between the community as well as the university. And also creating more housing right and close to the university, which is always going to help, I think, in terms of affordability for students.
So you spoke about office space, retail space. Now, is the idea that these would be say people taking out leases similar to McEwen Hall with revenue coming back to students to the university? I mean, you know, who's benefiting?
So the way that it'll work is West Campus operates independently from the university. They're working on getting a lease with the university for the land so that they can have that land for the next 100 years. Then developers will come in and they'll build houses, condos, rental apartments, as well as retail space and offices. And for the retail and office, it'll kind of be on a lease basis. But all revenue that's generated through the West Campus Development Trust will come directly back to the University of Calgary, and it'll be of a great benefit, I think, in the long run in creating another income stream for our university to use to fund programs here on campus for students.
Excellent. So speaking of finances and costs, one of the things that you brought up when you were campaigning originally was the idea of trying to see a decrease in costs for international students. I'm wondering, where have we gotten on that? What progress have we seen?
Yeah, I think my biggest campaign goal was mostly around trying to make it easier for international students to be able to work off campus.
Okay.
Because right now in the application process, they actually have to apply for a special visa to work off campus. And every time they apply, the majority of the time the students are rejected. And each time they apply, there's an additional cost of about $100 or $150.
Gotcha.
So right now our federal organization, the Canadian Alliance of Student Associations, is actually working with a couple federal committees who are specifically looking at issues surrounding international students. And so hopefully we'll be able to see some more movement on that as we go forward. The other big one for international students that I talked about was multi-entry visas into Canada. A lot of students who come here with a single entry visa. And if they're here for a 4-year program, they can't go home and see their family for the entire time. And I think that if there was a family tragedy or an emergency, or even just getting homesick, I think that's really unfortunate for those students. So that's also going to be involved with the work that our federal group's doing, with a couple different committees and panels at the federal level that are really focusing in on how to make it easier for international students to come to Canada, and also after their degree to even stay in Canada.
Excellent. Yeah, that certainly sounds like a worthy goal. Now, you yourself are working with this federal group to see these goals met?
Yeah. So Raphael Jacob, who's our VP External, and myself both sit as members of the federal group. So the Canadian Alliance of Student Associations represents over 300,000 students from across the country, from 20 plus post-secondary institutions, a number of those actually right here in Alberta. And so we do a lot of lobbying at the federal level. Raph and myself were actually out there in November. We were in Ottawa. We had meetings, for example, I had the opportunity to meet with the Ministry of Finance, with the Prime Minister's office, and a few different departments like that where we're able to advance some of these issues forward. And we don't only talk about the international student aspect, we also talk about student loans at the federal level, issues students are having with that, and also grants and bursaries, and even research plays a role, as there are some grad student associations also members of our group.
Okay. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk to you about is we've heard that there's going to be a 5% increase coming up in student fees over the next year. Do you know why this increase is occurring, where that extra money that we're being asked to spend is going? What role have you had in regards to this?
Yeah, so most of the fee that's going to be increasing this year was actually implemented 4 years ago. Okay. And at the time when it was implemented, the plan was to increase it to the level it's going to be next year.
Gotcha.
I think the biggest issue with the fee that's there is that it bundles a ton of services together, which makes it really easy, actually really unaccountable. It's very hard to know exactly where the money's going, how much those services actually cost, and at the same time, the fee is supposed to only cover a percentage of those services, which makes it even more blurry about where money's being spent. I think our big goal, and I think it's going to be a big thing for the Students' Union going into next year as well, as there's the possibility of provincial budget cuts and things like that to institutions, is we need to see more regulation from the government about the way not only tuition works, tuition's already capped to inflation, but also these extra fees. Because at this point, a university can just come in and institute an additional fee on absolutely anything they wanted. If they wanted to start charging us for the tiles on the floor, they could do that tomorrow.
And you campaign really heavily on transparency of those fees as well.
Yes, 100%. I think the biggest thing, my opinion, is if students are going to pay for a specific service on campus, students should be able to see the line-by-line budget of that service and be able to go through and actually see where their money's going. And if students have an issue with that, they should be able to bring it forward to the Students' Union, and we in turn to the university. Because I really want to make sure any of these fees provide additional value to students. And at this point, I'm not convinced that the student services fee at U of C, which is a $450 fee starting next year, is going to provide that much additional value.
Well, it looks like we're out of time, but I would like to thank you for coming by tonight and clarifying these issues for us, Hardave. Thank you very much.
No worries, perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah.